All right. First things first. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can anyone hear me? Those of you that are watching these, can anyone hear me? Type away in the live chat over there. If you can hear me, that's great. There's 2 viewers that's watching. Great. I know it's early, but I just started a live stream, and I'm going to share the link to social media thing first before and having to answer your questions when I say so. If that's okay with you guys. All right, I can see a lot of you in the live chat. Hello, Jonathan. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Lakamanson. Hello, Colec Welsh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Winter 2020 Q&A live stream. As a special thank you for the 6K subscribers on my YouTube channel as of very late in early January 2020. So, yeah. First off, how is everybody doing at the start of a whole new year and decade? Right. If you excuse me, I'm going to share the link to the live stream so that everyone can watch as well as you guys before we can officially start the whole Q&A thing right away. All right. We'll be back with you shortly. Intermission. Okay. Twitter. Double check. That's Twitter done. Hang on, Mega Tangential X. I will get back to you in shortly or so. Hello, LPLNER. I'm doing pretty well, thank you. I just I recently got over the cold, thank goodness. I've been having a common cold for the last few weeks ago. Now it's all settled down, and yeah, no more raspy voices and stuff, and no more constant chesty coughs. So, yay for me! Now, focusing on my Facebook page to share the link to the live stream. Hang on. Hold your horses with a Q&A until I say I finished sharing the link, guys. So then I will be getting back to answering some of your questions to start things off. Oh dear. This is going to be a doozy. Yeah. Hello, Aiden. Like I said to JPLNER, I'm doing pretty well, thank you. I recently gotten over a cold, so yeah, I'm doing fine now. So that's great. How about yourself? How is everybody? Okay. Finally, sorting out Facebook. Okay. I think the Facebook thing's done. Okay. I'm so excited for the train show that Train Props will be at. Oh, so am I. For I will also be there with my acquired Thomas props and rare memorabilia, so chances are You can also see me over there as well as Tom's Props and Soda Engage 1. So if you're living in near Bournemouth in UK, or at least you happen to be heading over Bournemouth for the weekend of February 8th and 9th, please do not hesitate to say hello and drop in for a little chat. Drew, the exhibition display will be held at the Hamworthy Club, which is the Bournemouth Model Railway Exhibition in Bournemouth, Wimborne, England, United Kingdom. I'm just going to share the link to my friends on Facebook as well, so that they can have time to answer the question. Boom, 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 boom. Blum, da, dum, dum, dum. Do, 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 do. Boom, ba, ba, dum, bum. Boom, ba, ba, da, da, dum. Okay, I think that's just about it. That means I should take a look at the first bunch of questions that I shall select to answer. It doesn't have to be all of them at once, which will be hard for me to catch up to answer to you guys. So for those of you that are watching this right now, welcome to the first seasonal Q&A live stream hosted by yours truly. And for this special live stream, this is where I will get to answer a couple of questions were left by you guys on the live chat over there for the next hour or so. And to end things off, once that's done, and that is until next time for around April for spring 2020 Q&A live stream, July for summer Q&A live stream, October for the autumn live stream, and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So, yep. Okay. Hello, Scott, aka Lily Key Studios. Out of the 3 Kickstarter Thunderbirds episodes, which one is your favorite? Mine's The Abominable Snowman. It's too hard to pick, really, Scott. I mean, they're all magnificent for, or at least fab for what they were for exclusive Kickstarter Thunderbirds episodes. Excuse my mother's coughing in bed. That said, she's fine. Anyway, without further ado, by random order, the most out of the 3 Kickstarter episodes that I liked, for obvious reasons, The Abominable Snowman, The Stately Holmes Robberies, and Introducing Thunderbirds. So yeah, each episode, for their own right, are fab. Still fab. Yeah. All thanks to Stephen, Andrew, and Elliot of all Thunderbird 65 crew involved. So, great job, everybody. Especially on the Century 21 style documentary that I also got on Blu-ray. It's worth checking out too, by the way, if you're into giants and shows and Thunderbirds in general. Whether it be Stingray or Captain Scarlet or maybe even UFO or Space 1999. Wait. That's for a later era. That's live action stuff. Anyway. Yeah, so yeah. That's all for my favorite out of the 3 episodes. That had to be The Invulnerable Snowman Sky. In short. So yeah. Alright, getting back to JPLNER. What is it like to contributing the revised version of the Thomas the Tank Engine Man? It was a big surprise to me seeing your name. That was an interesting question there, to be honest. It's all started around early 2015. I think that was when I got in touch with author Brian Sibley when he was still working on revising the biography book about the Reverend W. Audrey and Thomas the Tank Engine in general that was originally published in October 1995 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Railway series. So yeah, and the main, in short, he included my name alongside Sam Wilkinson and Owen Bell and the Audrey family members in the acknowledgements page. Well, for me and Owen, did a really useful contribution to the book, like looking into looking for useful information to giving the couple of pages some updates and stuff like that, unless I could be mistaken. But in short, what I did was simply contributing to the book, whilst Sam Wilkinson did a major thing on the rewrite, by helping Brian as well. So props to him on that as well. I mean, Sam. I've met him in person more than twice, by the way. He's a pretty good guy. Yeah, he's a good chap. A good friend, though. He's a good friend, like a couple of you guys. Let's see. I'm going to a train show here in America, says Mr. Mindbox Blocks. Well, that's pretty good. That's good to know you're going to the train show in America. Whereabouts in America are you going by chance? All right, here's an interesting one. Railway series or TV series? I'll be honest with you here, Steam Team Productions. I was mostly familiar with the TV series, mostly Series 3 and then Series 1 and 2, around the time when I was still a toddler and a child. Yeah, during my childhood days, that is, watching these episodes on VHS. In fact, my first Thomas VHS as a child was just Thomas and Other Stories, utilizing the earlier narrations provided by Michael Angelis prior to the initial UK airing in 1992, which was interesting because that video in particular was released along with Time for Trouble in 1991. Which happened to be the year I was born in. So, yeah. This is interesting, actually. But as years went by, my first exposure to the Railway series was either Thomas and the Fat Controller's Engine in a local library or the Tramway Engines book. I'm not sure because there are that many Railway series books. That's a lot of them. That had brightly and vibrancy of colors in the illustrations, albeit in the realistic style, mostly of the likes of John T. Kenny and Peter Gunther Edwards. All whilst the original Dalby's was also one of the recognizable artists for his own style of the Audrey's characters and stories as well. With that said, that they're all they're all wonderful artists for their own rights, with their own artistic style in that brought to life for Thomas and Friends. So yeah. All right, hello Josh Production 7. And hello, everybody. Looking into more questions and all right, trying to catch up with. Okay. All right, here's an interesting question from Mr. Mindblocks. What it's like seeing Thomas and the Magic Railroad in theaters? Well, that's kind of interesting, to be honest. I mean, it was several months before. I mean, it was it was a few months before it was released in cinemas. As I went to see the Adventures of Elmo in Crouchland movie. That's where I happened to see a trailer for Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I think it's the one featuring Neil Morrissey's narration on it. Basically, it's a UK one. Yeah, and it wasn't long before it was released in the summer of 2000, in July. That is. The first time I saw it was at the old Odeon Cinemas in Wimbledon with some classmates in Bushy Middle School. And the second time I saw it was at a few cinemas in Croydon Polly Way with a friend. So that was 2 times I saw Thomas and the Magic Railroad in cinemas. Okay. Hello, Michael. My first Thomas VHS was the one in the blue card-cased ones, Thomas and the Breakdown Crane. Still have it today, but only just playable. Well, that's funny you should brought that up because I do recall my friend, my friend, my personal friend had that video, and uh, and for some reason I think he did let me have it. Which I think I still have it somewhere. I mean, Thomas and the Breakdown Train VHS that you have mentioned, Michael. So yeah, that's a very nice fact. Ooh, now here's another interesting question. Which narrator, it should be an O instead of an E for narrator, you prefer, Michelangelo's or Alec Baldwin? In terms of series 5 and 6, my bet will be on Michelangelo's, mostly because of his enthusiasm, as well as his well-known voice traits in the characters, like the Fat Controller. In that the one very screenshot, that later become a classic meme. The narrator said, "The Fat Controller laughed, ho ho. Well, the engines are wrong, and you shouldn't have listened to rumors, Thomas." Whereas Alec Baldwin, oh, yeah, well, to give him some credit, at least that he did his very best with character voices in Series 5, whilst in Series 6, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, to be honest. Hello, Jamie, also known as Parker Productions. Let's see who else is here. All right, Nathan, my boy. I love trains 3 If you could choose one Railway Series character to be introduced in the TV series, who would it be and why? To be honest, I'm not sure. But for obvious reasons, I was thinking either Bear for the mainline services or Pip and Emma. I don't know. It's kind of both. Either way. Well, if my bet that if that to be Bear, that I wouldn't mind. I mean, it would be interesting to see him in action, but I digress. That is an interesting question you had there, Nathan. Thank you. Okay, Sir Henny, do you have Hornby trains in your room, and will you show us some of it? I think I have a particular Hornby train set, which sadly I had yet to use because I'm not technically a model railway modelist person myself. Unlike Michael, Luke, and Tom, and anyone else to be specific, who were more specified in their craftsmanship with model railways. For Michael, if you're watching, you did great with your Farquhar model railway layout, which is a replica of the Reverend Audrey one. So, in short, I was impressed to seeing it, as well as the fact that you had taken my request into into mind for beautifully recreating the Audrey's original Wooden Thomas toys, a complete set of them, which can take a while, into some bit of a perfection, which I'll say. And to this day, I treasure them to my possession. Not just for display purposes, but for good memories that we still have as friends. So, yeah. Thank you, Michael. Anyway, last, oh yeah, Park Productions. Have you ever watched the Wind in the Willows series, Cosgrove Hall? If yes, what's your favorite episode? Too many to list, but there were a few that I think I remembered seeing. In fact, I think I did have have a favorite in particular, and it had to be where Toad and one of the Weasel henchmen were in a hot air balloon as Toad trying to take a picture of a disused railway line, which was an interesting concept from looking into the fourth series of that Cosgrove Hall adaptation series. When it comes to the animals in the woods and the defunct railway line that is threatening to take over the environment or something like that. Oh, what a coincidence! Oh, Tears is one of your favorites as well. That's the episode I was talking about. Yeah. Did you like Brum? Well, I did remember watching the classic series of Brum as a child on VHS as well, mostly with a female narrator, that whose name kind of escapes me right now. But yeah, this all takes place in Birmingham, in a described as a big town where Brum does some heroic things, some helping others in need, as well as catching baddies and saving the day. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Toya Wilcox. Toya Wilcox. She did a pretty soothing narration. Yeah, that is pretty good. That is right up to the 2000s series of Brom, where he was, for some reason, he was portrayed as some superhero, as if he was trying to be the next Superman, except he's a car trying to stop the baddies and keep helping others in need. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Whilst not a bad concept, I think I actually prefer what I had saw as a child. I mean, the classic rum that did have some more appealing to me for a storytelling format, as opposed to a Superman wannabe concept. So yeah. All right. Well, now I'm working on replicating the first Thomas layout, the Northwestern region, with my club. So far, Knapford Junction track has been laid. Timoth will follow in the next few weeks. Oh, that's interesting to know, Michael. Well, keep at it. You'll do good. Uh, I had the feeling that the Reverend Audrey would have been proud from looking above. So yeah, that's all I had to say. George Productions 07. Do you own the fish from Series 8 because I saw it on the Thomas Wiki? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact. Oh, well, 5 miniatures to be exact, and a still image from that exact episode. You see 4 small ones and one large scale of fish. To answer your question, yes. Okay. All right. Here's an interesting comment from Max Koeg. Sorry, I pronounced your name wrong. All right. Oh wait, do you have a favorite Railway Series book? If so, why? Again, too many to list, but I think a tie between Stepney the Bluebell engine and Enterprising engines, obviously, because each one have unique stories based on real life events. I mean, each book have the exact stories are based on real life events. I mean, they're all wonderful books for each child to read, really, as well as parents occasionally for bedtime stories. So yeah, and for Christopher Audrey books, I think the one that had to be Thomas Thomas and his friends, which most notably because I found it to be uh, fitting for a conclusion to the whole volumes of the Railway Series books, which admittedly it was sad at first seeing it as I went to the Beer Heights Railway in Devon, seeing Christopher Audrey down there for a storytelling session. He did confirm to the children and myself as we watched on that Thomas and Friends is indeed, quote unquote, the last book so far. So yeah. Oh, and here's an interesting question. Also, keep up a great work on the TE documentaries. I think you meant Steaming to Legacy, by the way, Max. Some of the greatest fan-made documentaries I've seen on YouTube. Thank you. I very appreciate it to hear that. Okay. Oh boy. CA8620. When I am depressed, I usually slap my wife. Why do I feel better then? Is there anything else I can do? I tried a few times to slap my dog, but it was not the same feeling, like something was missing. Well, I don't think that, to truth be told, I don't think taking your frustrations out of anyone when you would help when you're feeling depressed. I mean, slapping is kind of like abuse, kind of like an abusive thing in a way. I mean, it did not, truth be told, it did not help make it all better for you, CA8620, man. But instead, I think that there are a couple of options. I think you ought to try find some better resolutions than slapping your wife, which is I don't think it's very good because that only makes things worse, not better. Instead of doing that, I suggest you ought to take some yoga, or at least take some anger management, to help improving your mentality and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Thanks for pointing that out, Parker Productions. Well, whilst I was trying my best to give some of that advice, I mean, in short, slapping's not worth it. Try taking anger management to see if it helps out, especially for depression. So yeah, as well as getting some help from those around you. You excited for a Thomas Prop replica? Are you referring to the Cool Props Thomas vintage Thomas replica? Because I was one of the people that happened to be pre-ordering it right now. Well, actually, already pre-ordered it around early November, around the time it was out. So yeah, yeah. So I could hardly wait to see it in person once it's released later in the year. So it should be pretty good. Oh, This is an interesting question out here. This time from Shihani. Oh, Sherhani. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I may be good with pronunciations. My apologies if I got that wrong. When you became an accidentally, what I think what you mean to say, when you accidentally became a meme, what would you react? I'm not sure to either either to laugh at myself or be upset. Come to think of it, the last thing I noticed about accidentally becoming a meme was back in October 2015. I do recall seeing a title of a YouTube video. I think it was now unavailable, called Chris Thompson's Legends, in which some guy that I won't be naming for safety reasons, not just slapped Chris Thompson's face into some fictional characters and stuff like that, but they happened to slapped my face in as well from some photo that I do recall that was taking place in 2014 Tug's event at the Midland Railway Centre. With me smiling like this. Yeah. I don't know, is it in short? In answer to your question, I don't know. I do not know whether to either feel like laughing at it or to be upset, whilst knowing that memes are usually not something to be taken seriously or personally. Chris Thompson is an okay guy. However, he can be mean. That is the thing. Because I do recall, yeah, I'll admit, I did used to be, it wasn't, oh wait, this wasn't until April or May 2016, and that's when things starting to hit the fan, when he boils over an online video that had Thomas appearing in it, and I replied to him with like saying that something like, "It's only an online video. There is no need. Just calm down, man." But he just flat out refused to listen, and instead taking it all out on me on the others, which ended up getting a comment from me and the others. In short, I started to dislike Chris Thompson now. I mean, I doubt that he'll improve after that point, and as expected, yeah. I'm not saying I hate him. It's just that I just don't like it when he's overly critical over something political or not, especially in this case with Brexit or Donald Trump and some movies that, in which case he was trying to be a nostalgia critic wannabe or something like that. Oh, hi, a junction malfunction. So yeah, just that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be friends with anyone like Chris Thompson. I mean, if you happen to be good friends with him, that's okay. But just be warned, though, you just never know what's on the other side. That's all. From Chase Caldwell, have you thought about doing train spotting videos on the side of heritage railways? I did a couple of train spotting videos in heritage railways in the past, mostly at the Midlands Railway Centre in Butterley, the Mid-Hants Railway in Hampshire, and the Nene Valley Railway in Peterborough. Yeah. So yeah, I do occasionally go out and see some trains. Mostly the ones special ones like the Flying Scotsman, or Mallard, or the City of Truro. However, there was one of the memorable events I do remember attending at it, which was the National Railway Museum in June 2012, where they held the special Rail Fest, where there were lots and lots of steam engines and coaches and trucks and stuff like that. There was a lot to explore. I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's pretty much like a rail enthusiast dream. I mean, there was even that train featured in Harry Potter films, the Hogwarts Express engine, and Mallard. And then there was Stevenson's rocket, and then there was Teddy, which happened to be an engine that once owned by Reverend Teddy Boston. And what else is there? Flying Scotsman, still in black livery around the time. That's a wartime livery. In short, it was one of those memorable events in rail enthusiast train spotting history, from my perspective, anyway. So yeah. Okay, Nathan, I love Trains 323. If you write an episode for the current TV series, what would it be about, and who would it star? Oh, to be frank, I had never written a script for a TV series before, let alone an official production. For television and film, uh, as opposed to making fan content like some of you guys and Enterprising Engines and Tram Engine Studios, to name a few. Well, I'll admit that I've kind of had a slight grain of envy when I found out that Michael White was involved in the TV series, but at the same time, I was really happy for him that to be involved in the production team and the writers as well for the TV series. I mean, White House Films. He wrote 2 episodes of Series 22 and 4 for Series 23. I would. And chances are that there may be a couple of more in Series 24, but I I do not know which yet, because it will be a wait and see game. I mean, for White House Films, if you happen to be watching this, what is it like to be writing an episode for the TV series of Thomas and Friends, and from the very beginning, without giving too much away? To answer Nathan's question, of course. In short, as much as I like to participate in the official production of Thomas and Friends, that is a TV series, it will still be a dream job that has to be met with reality yet. So yeah, let's see. Have you been to the Taliclin Railway? Once. I went there once, Chase. In fact, I did happen to see the special centenary exhibition about the Reverend W. Audrey in June 2011 that I did some videos of the trip, as well as writing a blog about it. And I did have a couple of photos about the exhibition and the trip as well that I went to with my father. So it's still a lovely little line, and some place that I may like to return one day for my potential Audrey trips, somehow, to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Railway series later in the year, hopefully. I'm back. My device died. Sorry to hear that. I hope all is well again. When is your next railway trip? At the moment, I don't know yet. Okay. This one is a good question. Why and how are you a Smurf fan? Well, now, unlike that of Thomas of Brands, I'm pretty much a casual fan of the Smurfs, you see. It wasn't, well, it happened around spring of 2011. That's following the time I saw a poster of the live action movie coming out in cinemas, and it was several months before it was out in cinemas when I started watching a couple of Hanna-Barbera cartoon episodes, which I found to be fun to watch, and to this day, they hold so dear to my heart, and especially the whimsical animation drawings and visual art style, as well as fantasy and action storylines that keep the kids and fans enthralled. So it's worth it. How would you rank the big weekends at Star Tugs Midlands Railway? One being the best. Well, I'm happy to say that I pretty much loved going to big weekends at the Midlands Railway because for a couple of reasons. One, to be seeing my friends again, and that since it had been a long while, and two, to see the Tugs character models again, and three, to further explore the railway. So, yeah, that's pretty much my recommendation to visit the Midlands Railway Centre in Butterley. So I rank it around between 7 and 8.5 out of 10. Mostly 8 out of 10 for me. Dan, you're very positive. Ah, nice to know. Thank you. So I'm very thoughtful of you to say that. Because I'm Irish. Oh, well, my dad's Irish, which I happen to be from an Irish family. In spite of the fact that my mom's English and my dad's both English and Irish. Well, we all have an Irish family. One part of a relative, one side of a family in America, and the other in Ireland. Okay, I meant, do you have a favorite annual event that took place? Let me think. Likewise, it had to be the big weekend event at the Midlands Railway Centre for me. That's one of my favorite annual events that took place. And hopefully, if the history of Thomas would be happening this year or so, since last May, then chances are it should also be one of my favorite events, annual events as well, hopefully. Oh, that's good for the 2018 big weekend was your favorite. Last year's big event was my most favorite, mostly because there was that one part that during a roundup with Ryan and Co before the special evening events. I do believe there was one of the group mentioned something about Michael White of being a writer for Thomas that doesn't count, resulting in him throwing his Tug's hat down the ground and flipped the bird. And when I picked his hat up and caught up to him, as did Crane Productions 27, before we all went back to the rest of the gang for so yeah, I do recall that was one of the my highlights of the event. I mean, it's hard to believe that White House Films flipped the bird and thrown his hat to the ground. I love that one, and I'm pretty happy to see it in two videos, one by uh, Merlin Merlin number one, Merlin then number Callum, and TK Productions. That's two videos. I heard that the others, that person's name escaped me right now. Sorry, Callum. Okay. Would it be worth a Mr. Min Lummis Collection video series next year for the Mr. Min's 50th anniversary? I doubt it'd be happening. Sorry. Unless something comes to mind. But thanks for asking anyway, Snoopy at one. Do you have vintage toys? And if so, would you show it to us, please? I'm too curious. I think some of them are in the cupboard somewhere, but hang on, I'll be right with you to see if I can find something that's worth looking into. Not much over here. Nothing vintage Thomas toys underneath here as well. Sorry. Unless it's funny you should mention Erdl. I bought this very vintage Erdl box that has two tropes and trucks on it from the 2018 event of Big Weekend for £20. Well, it's not bad for a price, to be honest, since they're pretty rare. I'll let you have a closer look right here. Which countries have I visited? Mostly Ireland and Massachusetts in the USA. Not forgetting Lords, France. Let's see. Turkey. Tenerife. And I think it's somewhere in Spain that's name escapes me right now. And now for the back. So look. Circa 1990. So yeah, that's that for the Earl Trucks and Trucks. I bought this very little something that's also vintage on eBay several months ago, which happens to be this one. One of these wall stickers. I found this to be interesting, to be honest. For those of you that are into Clearwater Features Thomas series, you're very welcome. I'll do my best to hold still with it. May not be the best quality though. What about you meeting Ross and Scott in person? How would you rate that? I couldn't know how to rate it, other than to say they're a great bunch out of many people I encountered in person and eventually befriended with. Scott and Ross are pretty much a great bunch. So yeah, they're a great pair. They're good friends, like anyone else. How do you like this wall sticker? What do you think? Do you like Green Day, the band? Says 12 Snow Peach. Not a huge fan of the band, although I do remember hearing one or two of their songs. I'm not sure which. Yep. Alright. Now, I know this is not anything to do with Thomas in general, but I think this is something that should be interesting. This is the one of the Charlie Brown Pop Vinyl toys that I bought several months ago. This one's Charlie Brown, although for some reason he's wearing red shirt with a white zigzag on it and green boots. What did it appear to be green boots? Unless I may be mistaken, I don't know. But still an interesting design for a Pop Vinyl toy. Do happen to see the other one of Snoopy, or is it Linus, in The Entertainer in Wimbledon? Look, an Entertainer's toy store. Hello, Danner and Linus. Alnus. And now here's the back of the Pop Vinyl toy of Charlie Brown. I don't know about you, but the toy I have for Charlie Brown did look pretty different from what's shown in the art style. What do you guys think? Now, I'll say it's interesting, though. Come to think of it, I do recall still having a head of Snoopy of a McDonald's toy around when I was still a child. Although I couldn't remember whether or not I had watched the Charlie Brown stuff on TV. Although after the Peanuts movie was released in cinemas, that's how I was instantly hooked with into the world of the Charles Schultz and the Peanuts gang. That has Charlie Brown and Snoopy stuff. It's true. I was the Red Bull. Imagine seeing Charlie Brown ever drinking Red Bull. there's something I'd like to show you. I still have this particularly nicely designed Christmas stocking of Thomas. What do you guys think? Snoopy died in 1971 due to dog cancer. Sorry, buddy, but he's mummy, as well as Charlie Brown. So I doubt that he'd ever died. Along with this, I think I have a Percy Christmas stocking holder somewhere as well. Okay, a few more things before we can get back to the last couple of questions. Starting off with some Christmas ornaments, circa, I think, 2001. I have a couple of these included. The first 6 characters, for now, what I have in my hand are Thomas, Edward, and Henry. Although for some reason Henry's lost his funnel. You too, 1-2 Peach, and Snow Peach. Have a great day. Thanks, Parker Productions. DF Tommy. I think I have the one of the original Tommy Thomas toys that comes with the 2002 re-release VHS tape of Thomas the Friends Christmas collection from 1996. You know, the one of those VCI episodic compilation videos. Anyone remember Christmas collection videos that also has Thomas's Christmas song? You know, that performed by the Beavers, former Beaver Scouts. So that's for the Christmas ornaments. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There is something else that I would like to show you to wrap things up before we can get back to answer some final questions before finishing up the live stream. So be right in a minute. Yes. Good thing I got it. Sorry you had to see the heads all kind of falling off a bit. So, sorting this out first. Okay. Here we are. Here is Mini-Me. Especially made as a request from Flying Pingo. This is one of the large scale TV figurine versions of me. That's taken from my current Twitter profile picture. That's me wearing a blue jacket, some trousers, and black shoes, and a train guard's hat. No, that's not Tom Tippett. That's actually me. That's actually me. That's taken from a Twitter picture. How do you like the look of the Mini-Me made by Flying Pringle? Now for this side, I have to be careful. It's very delicate. Yes, his arms can also be moved as well. And then the back. And then the other side. Referring to the Gauge One Web Association in October 2019. And here's a one last look of Mini-Me for better lighting. Hopefully. Do I like Sonic? I do recall seeing fewer episodes of the 1990s DC Comics series, but as well as a couple of video games, basically the original ones from the 90s. But that was all there is to it, to be honest. So I'm not really a huge fan of Sonic, to be honest. Whereas I'm more of a Mario guy. Anyway, be right back to answer a couple of final questions before we wrap things up. I have to carefully put this back. Out you go. Yeah, you could have to see my behind to avoid seeing the head decapitation. That wouldn't be nice. Ooh. And then to sort things out with the box and such. Okay, and that's finished. There should be more questions. Here's an interesting one from Parker Productions yet again. In your 10 plus years being on YouTube, what would you say has been the biggest change to when you first started out? Well, to be honest, from the very start in 2006, that's when I first saw a couple of videos. I believe on my first YouTube video I've ever watched was some adult parody video of Thomas's Christmas Party episode, which was long gone, sadly. It was this had been a couple of months before I finally signed on to YouTube as Neville Fan. But before that, I also had another account under the name of Dan5589, which both accounts are suspended for copyright infringement in the September of 2008. After a really crazy year with me making hundreds and hundreds of videos, that most of which I doubt anyone would remember. And from the end of 2008, this is one of the current YouTube accounts that I have, mainly for making contents like this for you guys to see, as well as the other two YouTube accounts for other things. One for Thomas parody clips, and the other for YouTube poop videos that I used to make up to 2013. That's when I started to lose interest in making them, as well as making redubs, sadly, to focusing on doing better things. I remember the coffee reviewer videos. I was around when you did them. That's good to know. I remember when Dan's Series 13 review and his colorful picture on CRTV. Jamie Boy, 1995. Are you referring to the review videos I did on Thomas Series 17? Still, it is nice to know that some people remember some videos that they remembered watching on YouTube. So that reminds me, before we going to wrap things up in a couple of minutes, I have one or two questions for you guys. First off is what was your first video? What was my? Sorry, I'll try again. Do you remember which out of my YouTube videos was the first one you have watched? In short, which was your first exposure to SmurfyDan or Dan5589 or Buster Steamroller, which happens to be the same guy? Steamy's Legacy Chapter 1. Okay, that's one. How do you remember me from Stimmy's Legacy Chapter 1, Judge? Anyone else? Does anyone else remember the first exposure to my YouTube videos? Anyone? Chapter 9. That will have to wait. I only released Chapter 8 over a month ago. It either would have been a music video or a YouTube poop of Emily's Adventure. That I do recall making. I do recall first testing out making videos in HD when I tried out making a YouTube poops like that. It was one of those. I'll admit, it was one of those random YouTube poops I did. Right. I remember the start when Enterprising Engine 93 was saying about your big project. That's nice to know. Yeah, in fact, you did have a pretty good memory there, Pocket Productions. Okay. What made you start the Station Master's Office videos? Long before the idea came to fruition, I do recall listening to some podcasts or watching some videos that from the likes of Tomcast and Thomas Talk. That two of those partially inspired me into making the Station Masters for a news programming variety video of my very own style. So yeah. So yeah. So I think we're over in an hour and 10 minutes. So that means that will be all for the first seasonal Q&A live stream video that I ever hosted. And it's been wonderful to be interacting with you guys whilst answering a couple of questions. My apologies if I hadn't answered all of them. You see, as much as I did try to answer a couple of these as much as I could. So I hope that you're all satisfied with some couple of answers that I had in mind. So until next time for April 2020 for Spring 2020 Q&A live stream, this is SmurfyDan signing off, and a very happy new year and for 2020. Okay, scratch that. Have a very happy 2020 for one and all. Good night, everyone. Bye.